I know a lot of you have gotten new Instant Pots, and I thought it would be really worthwhile to show you just some of the basic functions of the most used buttons. So just so you know, some of these that say rice, multigrain porridge, soup, meat stew, bean, chili, poultry, those are actually all programs on the manual or pressure cooker. You may have pressure cook instead of manual on your button. And that's all those mean. So we're not going to deal with those for now. One of the most important buttons that you're going to use is the Keep Warm Cancel button. So once your program goes, let's say maybe you cooked rice for 24 minutes, it's going to switch off to keep warm. It's not going to switch off, it's actually just going to switch to keep warm. If you wanted it to turn off, you'd have to click this button. So it's either to on and keep warm or off and cancel. You're also going to use that button after you use the saute function. So sometimes we'll saute some onions, we'll stop that, and then we'll go to manual. So that's another way that you're going to be using that keep warm cancel button. And also when the keep warm is on, it will start with an L up here, and it'll tell you maybe 45 minutes. Or an hour and 45 minutes. So it'll look like a digital clock, like 1:30, something like that. And what we're going to do now is let's turn it to the saute function. We've got less, normal, and more. And we're not going to use these plus or minuses. We're actually going to use the adjust function. So let me cut that off again and see with adjust how it moves. And normal is pretty high, so often if I'm cooking something delicate, I'll start at less. So once this comes on, it lets us know when you're hearing those beeps and seeing on, that lets us know that it's starting whatever cooking cycle that you've put it on. So to go again from saute, let's say we've sauteed our thing, so we've got to turn that off, right? And we see it off there. Then if I wanted to go to manual, and here's where I do the time, the plus or minuses. All don't have low pressure and high pressure, but you'd use the pressure button to change that. Low pressure would be good for something like asparagus or very delicate vegetables, whereas the high pressure is what you're going to use most of the time. And if a recipe doesn't state high pressure, chances are it's high pressure anyhow. So as you see again, it turned to on, and I'm going to turn this off again. If I had let it run its course, it would have gone to keep warm, and you would have seen an L. Like when you saw the number up here, that was how much cooking time that there was left, right? So 30, it's going to count down until it's ready to go. Also, we can use the timer. So you use the timer, let's say if you wanted to make rice that would be ready when you walked in the door. So let's say we wanted to put, and you want to be careful about what things you put in. Usually you're just going to put in a grain and water. Because if we put something in that is easily perishable, if it sits in there for 8 hours closed, it's going to go bad. So you want to use not non-dairy milk or yogurt. You really want to use just the basics for this. Like this is great for oatmeal and rice. So to use the timer, I have to first select a cooking method. So let's say we're going to go to manual, and we're going to do it for 24 minutes. Then before it goes to on, I need to hit the timer button. And you can't really see, but the manual button is on. You can sort of see it just barely. So with the timer, this would give us 6 hours. And if you don't get to it soon enough, it's going to go ahead and lock in on that. So hopefully that kind of helps you a little bit. So again, when we're using manual, pressure adjusts low and high. When we're using manual, the plus and minus does the time. Same thing with the timer. We're going to do plus or minuses. When we're using saute, we don't use the pluses or the minuses. 30 just is the default amount of time that it's going to go. It's not really important, but adjust is how you're going to adjust that temperature. And I hope this helps a little bit with just getting used to your Instant Pot. And getting used to going to cancel after saute is going to be really important. And you're going to be happy to know that. So I hope all this helps. And if you have some questions, leave them below. Bye.